This is the most spicy Nigerian stew I have ever cooked, and it is a buka stew, and buka stew you must add eggs. What is buka stew without egg soaked in the stew? Well, for this stew I'm using fish. This is mackerel fish. We call it Titus fish in Nigeria. Also using onions, peppers and tomatoes. These tomatoes I got it for 1,000 naira. There is scarcity of tomatoes now. Usually these tomatoes would have been sold for about 400 naira or 500 naira, but due to tomato scarcity it is very expensive now. This is me trying to wash it and use it for this stew, and it is also meal prepping because I usually prepare my meal mostly weekend that will last me the whole week, or sometimes even 2 weeks, depending on the quantity or the quality of food. When I say quantity, I mean like the size, if it is large amounts or in small portions, and also the varieties like fried rice, jollof rice, stew, soups and the rest. If I'm making just two soup, like let's say tomato stew and a goosey soup, I'll have to like maybe use it for like 1 week. But if I'm adding other soup like vegetable soup, okra soup and the rest, it can as well last for over 2 weeks. After washing, I'm going to set it aside, and I'm going to go ahead to fry the fish. I have already seasoned the fish and it has been marinating in the fridge, because when I bought this ingredient there was no light for me to make this video, so now they just brought the light. I have to quickly fry the fish. As you can see, the ingredients I used are properly soaked into the fish. Time for us to fry it. Currently in Nigeria, all foodstuffs are very expensive. This fish I got it for 1,500 naira. Just one was sold for 750, and it is so little compared to before. On a normal day, I'm supposed to buy this fish, let's say 400 naira each, but I ended up buying one for 750 naira. And people are saying that people are not suffering in Nigeria. Let's say 80% of Nigerians are suffering, because imagine someone who is just depending on a 50,000 naira salary to feed 3 times a day for 7 days for 1 month. That's 30 days. It's not going to be easy, especially with the rise of price in food store. So once one side of the fish is fried, I'm flipping it over. As you can see in the video, I'm using my fork to flip it over, and I'm also trying my best not to let it get scattered. Nigerian fish stew recipe is a very delicious one to make. For this recipe I'm using green pepper. This is garlic and ginger. I have washed it, and I'm going to blend that salt first. I added some of the red pepper. In fact, I used a lot of pepper for this stew, and I got this pepper from Benin in Edo State. I was thinking it's the kind of pepper that we have in Ibadan, because if it's in Ibadan, if you use this quantity of pepper, it's still not going to be spicy. But people will think they are eating a lot of pepper. It's still not going to be spicy. So after blending the pepper, as you can see, I'm blending more of it, and this is some tomatoes as well. But after blending, I'm going to just fry everything in the same oil that I used to fry the fish. I added little amount of water before blending. This will make it to loosen up and also reduce the workload on the blender. In my interest is to know that I also use a very generous amount of onions for this recipe, because I want it to be very flavorful, and also I want the onions to like substitute for the quantity of tomatoes, because I couldn't get a lot of tomatoes for that 1,000 naira. So this is me blending onions. This is 5 small size onions. Once the onions is blended, as you can see, it's very thick and it's going to add to the volume of the stew. Now time for us to fry. So the same pot I used in frying the fish, I'm going to add some chopped onions. That one is okay. I'm keeping the others for my other recipe. This is 3 tomato paste. I'm going to fry it very well before adding the blended mixture. So I want you to know that if you are making this Nigerian fish stew, you can decide to use palm oil, and also you can decide to blend the peppers roughly to make atadindin, which is a kind of Nigerian stew that you don't add tomatoes, It's just pepper, like bell peppers, chili peppers, onions, and this fish. So this is me adding every blended tomatoes, pepper, onions, everything. Oh my god, the flavor is mind blowing. Imagine the aroma of the ginger and the garlic in this mixture. After you have gotten to this stage, you have to be very patient because the liquid in this mixture is going to dry down. Everything is going to like fry, and you're going to have this perfect stew recipe. I know you'd also agree with me that mixing or stirring is a very important part of preparing Nigerian stew. Everything is combined. I'm going to cover it because it's beginning to splash. As you can see, this is about 20 minutes and the liquid is already going down. You can see the line on the pots. That first line was where the liquid was. Now it has gone down a little bit, but there are still some liquid and the oil is beginning to start floating on top of the stew. But I'm still going to cover it. See, the splashing has increased. At this stage I decided to add bay leaves because I always add bay leaves to my stew. See the splash on my hand, gosh. So now it's been another 10 minutes and it's still frying. This is me adding some spices such as thyme, curry, and I'm still going to cover it and let it go down more. See, the oil on top is now very much compared to before, and the ingredients have already incorporated into the stew. As you can see as well, it is now very thick. At this stage you are still going to leave it to continue frying, but you have to start stirring it at intervals so that it doesn't get burnt. There's no way it will get burnt though because of the kind of pot I am using, but if you're using the regular pot you have to keep stirring so it doesn't get burnt. And then this is me adding seasoning cubes, salt, and I'm going to stir everything. This stage is beginning to fry. It is now very thick. The liquid have reduced drastically. You can see the distance on the pot. The first round level was where the liquid was. As you can see, I'm trying to scrape it off so that all the flavor can combine together. And yeah, our stew is almost ready. Let's continue. Let's give it some time. But before then, I'm going to introduce the fried fish. The fish is going to add so much flavor to this stew. It is a fish stew anyways, but because of my budgets, because of what I'm trying to achieve, I can't really buy meat, turkey, chicken, beef, goat meat, and the rest to add to this stew. As you can see, I let it to boil more for some minutes, and I added eggs because eggs in this kind of stew is very good, and the eggs also are protein and they would substitute for the fish, for the meat, for the chicken, turkey, and others. So I'm going to give it a very good mix, and I'm going to still let it cook on its own before letting it off the stove. And this recipe can go with rice, plantain, or yam. See you on my next video.